you a little bit about. Dr. Ken Berry is a practicing family physician who has been practicing medicine since 2003. He is a passionate advocate of health on his YouTube channel, where he has over 2 million subscribers. Along with his online presence, he is active in the keto community and is best known for his direct, no-nonsense approach to health and wellness. Dr. Berry is the author of the best-selling book, Lies My Doctor Told Me. His latest release is entitled Kicking Ass After 50, which was co-written with Zane Griggs. He takes pride in working with the real people of the world in continuing his mission to bring an end to the obesity and type 2 diabetes epidemics, along with bringing awareness to such issues as thyroid health and hormone optimization. Everyone, I'd like to welcome to the stage Dr. Ken Berry.
Thank you. Hi. So rather than give a verbose and multi-articulated presentation today, I thought I might do what seems to help people the most in many cases. I might just take questions from you guys, because very often when you discover a proper human diet, you're like, oh, I got this, okay, good, no, this is easy. But then there's that one little hang up, and you're like, yeah, but, you know what a yeah, but is? Yeah, but, right, and so that's where the questions and answers, I think that really helps people. Because they just got that one thing, and if they knew the answer to that, booyah, full steam ahead. And so we're going to do that. First of all, let me just tell you just a brief little thing. On the very first low-carb cruise, when Nisha and I were just getting into speaking and traveling and talking about this thing, we were sitting after the presentation, and we were talking with a couple of other influencers, doctors, and out of my mouth tumbled the phrase, proper human diet. And Nisha went, ooh, that's good. Mark that down right there. Don't forget that. And so that just literally tumbled out of my mouth, as many things do. And so that's kind of become the mantra of what we're trying to do, because I think that if you want a dog to be as healthy as a dog can possibly be, you feed them a proper canine diet. And to the degree to which you don't feed them a proper canine diet, their health will suffer, won't it? The more poison you give that dog, the sicker that dog will become. And I think that's probably an underlying principle of all mammalian biology. Every mammal, for sure, and animal probably on the planet, that's a bedrock principle. When you take your dog to the vet and the dog is sick, the first question the vet asks, what are you feeding this dog? As if that's important. But yet when you go to the doctor and you're not feeling your best, how often is that the first question out of your doctor's mouth? Never? Seldom? That probably shouldn't be that way. Because we like to think that we're special and different, magical, but we're mammals. And so what are you feeding this mammal? That is a valid question anytime a human goes to the doctor as well. So keep that in mind. I think that's very important. And some of us think we're magical in that, and this may or may not apply to you. So listen carefully and see if you can figure out if this applies to you or not. Humans are fascinating creatures. We're so fascinating. We're the most ignorant geniuses on the planet. We're capable of such beautiful things, and then just the dumbest shit you've ever heard or seen in your life. It's like, how can you do both? Sometimes simultaneously, right? So there's this thing where people they feel like that they know about keto, carnivore, and they do it sometimes. but not all the time. Sometimes. But their health is just not responding to them knowing about a proper human diet. And only you know whether this applies to you or not. Just knowing the solution, but not applying the solution daily, strictly, repetitively, thoughtlessly, it just becomes a habit. You don't even think about it. Just like if there's a cow in the pasture, and then one day the cow's like, I've got an upset stomach, I don't know why. I found all these Skittles in the barn and I ate them. Why do you think my insulin's high, Dr. Berry? Well, did you eat grass? Well, no. Okay. So just because you know about keto, just because you know about carnivore, just because you watch some videos, just because you come to keto, carnivore, proper human diet conferences, this thing doesn't work by osmosis. You actually have to apply the principles and apply them daily and make them part of your daily habitual pattern that you just thoughtlessly do each and every day. So just because I see you at every keto conference does not, there's still not necessarily a mystery as to why keto is not working for you. You know me, I like to beat around the bush. I'm very shy. So, with that being said, I'm ready to take some questions. If anybody's now brave enough to stand up and ask me a question. Are you guys ready? I'm ready. Who's got a question? All right, go to that mic.
Before we answer questions, just know, if at all possible, please make your way to the microphone and form a line. If we have to, we'll bring it to you, but it'll work a lot better if you can come to the microphone. Also, one question and one follow-up question at the most. If you have any other questions, I'm sure you can catch Dr. Berry around, but just know we want to keep it moving, and if possible, you can form a line at the microphone. Thank you. Take it away.
Okay. All right. Since it seems like being in ketosis heals everything, just about so many things, and I have learned that insulin is a growth hormone.
Yes.
I have trouble with lipomas, fatty tumors growing up. They want me to get one removed, this little big one on my back.
Yep.
Had it removed once already, and I don't like anesthetic, especially at my age.
Mm-hmm.
Can it help it? Will it help it? Or do I have to go under the scalpel again for this?
Yes, probably the most powerful growth initiator for lipomas is high insulin. And so if you just recently started a proper human diet and you're still cranking down the carbs, I would continue that. We've seen hundreds of lipomas of various sizes, from thumbnail size to a softball size, shrink significantly. Some cases go completely away. Other cases, they got so small that they no longer wanted to have them removed. And so there are other things that can cause growth in lipomas, but insulin is far and away the biggest growth factor for that. And so if it's not causing pain or discomfort, or it's not big enough that like people at Walmart are like, what the hell is that right there? Right? Then I would just put, because lipomas pose no danger. There's no possibility of cancer. If it's on the outside of your body, it's not going to press on anything. It's not going to cause any issues. Just let it ride and keep your carbs as low as possible. Therefore, your insulin is going to go as low as normally possible. And give it a year or two. There's no rush. It's not like there's any danger. But if at any point you're sick and tired of it, or that guy at Walmart, every time he sees you, they just get it removed. Exactly, right, yeah. If it's that big, get it removed. But we've seen so many just go, because they lose their growth impetus, and they don't have that. And so, what's the default state for the human body? Healthy. The default state for the human body is healthy. And so when you stop doing what was making your insulin falsely continuously high, and it goes back to low normal, the lipomal starts to do this. That may not go completely away, but it's moving towards the default state, which is healthy. Yes, ma'am.
We've been told repeatedly that we shouldn't obsess about the number on the scale.
Yeah.
My question is, why is that the first thing that happens when you go to the doctor? You don't even get into an exam. I mean, and that becomes the first conversation.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
how much you weigh.
Well, you got to start somewhere, right? And so that was the first thing that happened to you when you came to the Berry Clinic, was we put your ass on the scale. 100%. Very first thing. Now that wasn't some protocol of mine. That's just how it happened to work. And I think it's because of the logistics of doing vital signs. You get that out of the way, then you sit them down. Then while they're sitting, you can check pulse ox, blood pressure, and temperature while they're sitting. But you got to knock that weight out. But it does send a kind of a bad message, doesn't it? Like, oh, don't worry about the number on the scale. Here, hop right up here.
So my question or my suggestion is, why don't we do the vitals first, and then on our way out?
Yeah. Well, the weight is a vital sign. Absolutely is a vital sign. But that's a great point. Then, like, you could weigh on the way out, and then you could secretly hope that the doctor wouldn't see what it was. Yes, sir.
And it's a pleasure. You're one of my favorites on YouTube. I follow you daily.
Thank you.
I'm going to switch up the question. We were speaking before about another topic, and Dr. Boz aptly responded very well with it. I'm a dawn phenomena type of child, and when I go in for my lipid panels, my glucose typically is 110 to 112 every year. My hemoglobin, A1C, 5.2, 5.3, very normal.
Mm-hmm.
My endocrinologist says, don't worry about it. But Stu Weinstock from Miami is a little troubled that my glucose is at 110, 115 early in the morning in the lab. So tell me, can you give me some feedback?
Absolutely, and I'm gonna teach you Socratically. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Why are you worried that your blood sugar, why exactly do you worry about it being 110, 115? What about that worries you?
What worries me, Ken, is that the parameters from the lab tell me that it's high.
Yep, but why do you care if it's high?
Because I want to stay away from the dreaded D word, diabetes.
Right, that's right. But why do we care about high blood sugar with diabetes? What does it matter? What does the high blood sugar do?
Well, it could cause a multiple.
Yeah. But kind of the root way it gets to all that pathology is glycation. Right. It gums everything up. So if you're running that morning blood sugar of 105, 110, 115, but your A1C is 5.1 or 5.2, is that glycated? So just a little. I've never seen an A1C of 0. Right? And so there probably some degree of glycation is actually healthy and optimal. And it seems like it's somewhere between 4.8, 5.2, somewhere in there is like the perfection. Not that you have to attain that, but right? And so if that 110 every morning, if it's not glycated, then should we care about that?
Yeah, I get your point. And also my triglycerides are low. My HDL's in the 50s.
So you're metabolically healthy by every marker, except for that blood sugar, which worries you a little bit.
Yes.
Now, and you know that's the dawn phenomenon, dawn effect. Which mammal on planet Earth does the dawn phenomenon not happen in? Does anybody know? Every freaking mammal on the planet has dawn phenomenon. That's how they wake up when they're asleep. Every human being on the planet has dawn phenomenon. This is not pathology. This is physiology. But many doctors were trained to only think about dawn phenomenon in the context of diabetes. And every single time it happens in a diabetic, the blood sugar goes up, which is uniformly bad in diabetic, therefore dawn phenomenon is bad. You see that, how that logic? And so sometimes you just got to pull away all the foolishness and just go, wait a minute. What is the dawn phenomenon? It is the elevation in adrenaline, cortisol, and a couple other hormones that wakes your ass up in the morning, that makes you go, right? That's what it is. That's normal. That's physiology. That's not pathology.
It seemed to me that, I'm not really elated with going into this lab early in the morning. My cortisol could be rising sky.
Wait till noon to get your labs.
Well, I need to chill out more in the morning. Maybe that would help me.
I think you got it. I think you got it figured out now, my friend. Thank you for the question.
I appreciate you.
Yes.